My brothers, my sisters, my people, listen to me. I do not come before you with borrowed wisdom. I do not speak to you in soft whispers of comfort. No, I stand here, full of fire, full of truth, because I have known what it means to be broken. I have known what it means to feel the weight of the world pressing down upon my shoulders, trying to make me bow. The power of resilience. Resilience is not just a word. It is a way of being. It is the fire that refuses to die out, the river that carves its path through stone, the seed that pushes through the hardest soil to bloom. Resilience is knowing that the night may be long, but the sun will rise again. It is standing in the face of hardship, trembling but unshaken, scarred but undefeated. There will be momento. There will be moments when the weight of the world feels too heavy to bear. When life seems determined to break you, to push you down so far that you question if you will ever rise again. You may stumble under the burden of loss, of failure, of heartbreak. You may cry tears that seem endless, feel wounds that seem unhealable. But let me tell you something, my dear. Resilience is not about never falling. It is about always getting back up. A tree stands tall not because it has never faced a storm, but because its roots run deep. The winds may howl, the rain may beat down upon it, but still it remains. And just like that tree, you too must dig deep. You too must plant yourself firmly in the soil of determination and say, I will not be moved. Resilience is a choice, a declaration, a promise to yourself that no matter how many times life tries to knock you down, you will rise. You will rise because your story is not over. You will rise because there is still more for you to do, more for you to become. There are those who have walked before us, those who have faced the impossible and refused to be defeated. They have known the sting of rejection, the weight of oppression, the darkness of despair. And yet, they did not surrender. They did not allow their circumstances to define them. They stood, bruised but unbroken, weary but unbowed. And if they could do it, so can you. Let me tell you this. You are stronger than you know. You carry within you the power to withstand any storm, to endure any hardship, to emerge not just as a survivor, but as a warrior. The power of resilience is already inside you. It is in your breath, in your bones, in your blood. You only need to claim it. So when life comes at you hard, when the road ahead seems endless, when your heart aches and your spirit falters, remember this. You are resilient. You are unbreakable. And no matter what comes your way, you will never, ever give up. Struggle is not the enemy. Struggle is not the end of you. Struggle, my dear, is the teacher life sends when it wants you to grow. It does not come to destroy you. It comes to shape you, mold you, refine you. It comes to awaken the strength that you did not even know you had. Oh, but I know when you are in the middle of the storm, when the weight of your troubles presses against your chest, when the darkness whispers that you are alone, it is hard to see the lesson. It is hard to believe that this pain has a purpose. But listen to me. Every hardship you endure carries a lesson, and every lesson shapes the person you are meant to become. There are things in life that can only be learned through struggle. You cannot understand the depth of your strength until you have been tested. You cannot appreciate the light until you have walked through the dark. You cannot know the power of your own voice until the world tries to silence you. Look at the greatest souls this world has ever known. The visionaries, the fighters, the ones who stood against the odds and changed the course of history. Do you think they walked an easy path? No, my dear. They were rejected, betrayed, broken, bruised. They were told no 1,000 times before they carved out their yes. But through their struggles, they found wisdom. Through their struggles, they found resilience. Through their struggles, they found themselves. So what is the lesson in your struggle? Perhaps life is teaching you patience, teaching you to wait, to endure, to trust that the right things will come at the right time. Maybe life is teaching you gratitudes, showing you what truly matters, stripping away the unnecessary so you can appreciate the beauty in the simple things. Or maybe, just maybe, life is teaching you to fight, teaching you that no matter how many times you are knocked down, you have the power to rise. teaching you that you are not defined by your failures, but by how you respond to them. Do not curse your struggle. Do not wish it away. Instead, open your eyes. Look for the lesson. Find the wisdom hidden in the hardship, because one day, when you have made it through, when you have survived what you thought would break you, you will look back and understand the struggle was never meant to destroy you. It was meant to build you. So when the road is rough, when the days are long, when your spirit feels weary, remember this: your struggle has a purpose. Your struggle is shaping you. And as long as you keep going, you will never, ever be defeated. There will come a time when the world will ask you to bow. It will press against you, whispering in your ear, telling you to shrink, to stay small, to surrender. It will try to convince you that you are not strong enough, not smart enough, not brave enough to stand tall. But hear me now. You were not made to cower. You were not made to fold. You were made to rise, to stand, to claim your place in this world with unwavering courage. Courage is not the absence of fear. No, my dear, courage is walking forward despite the fear. It is standing firm even when your knees tremble. It is holding your head high when the weight of doubt tries to push it down. Courage is looking the impossible in the face and saying, "You will not defeat me." And oh, life will test you. It will place obstacles in your path. It will bring days when the burden feels too heavy, when the pain feels too sharp, when the road ahead seems too long. People will doubt you. Some will try to break you. Some will tell you to quit, to sit down, to silence yourself. But you, my dear, must stand tall. Think of the giants who came before us, the ones who walked through fire and refused to be burned. They stood when it was dangerous to stand. They spoke when their voices shook. They kept moving when the world tried to hold them back. They did not stand tall because it was easy. They stood tall because they knew they must. And so must you. Standing tall means knowing your worth, even when others try to diminish it. It means holding on to your dreams, even when they feel distant. It means speaking your truth, even when your voice trembles. It is not always easy. There will be moments when standing feels impossible, when you will want to retreat, to disappear into the background. But you must remind yourself, your presence matters, your voice matters, your fight matters. And if ever you find yourself doubting, if ever you feel the weight of the world pressing down upon you, remember this: your courage is your power. Your courage is your light. And no matter what comes your way, you must never, ever stop standing tall. Fear will come. Oh yes, it will come. It will creep in through the cracks of your confidence, whispering in the quiet hours of the night. It will sit on your chest, heavy, making you doubt, making you question, making you hesitate. Fear will tell you that you are not ready, that you are not worthy, that you cannot possibly take another step forward. But listen to me, fear is a liar. Fear was never meant to lead you. Fear was never meant to control you. It was meant to be noticed, but not obeyed. It was meant to alert you, but never define you. And that is why you must choose faith over fear. Faith is the belief in what you cannot yet see. Faith is standing on the edge of the unknown and stepping forward anyway. Faith is trusting that even though the road ahead is dark, there is light waiting for you on the other side. There will be moments in your life when fear will try to paralyze you. It will tell you to stay where you are, to not take risks, to not dream too big, to not love too deeply, to not hope too fiercely. It will try to convince you that failure is worse than trying, that rejection is worse than never showing up. But I ask you, what has fear ever given you except regret? Fear will keep you small. Fear will keep you from your destiny. Fear will rob you of your joy, your purpose, your greatness. But faith will lift you. Faith will carry you through the storm. Faith will remind you that even when you do not know the way is still there. Every great person you admire, every hero who has changed the world, every soul who has left a mark, they too have felt fear. But they chose faith. They chose to believe in something bigger than their doubts. They chose to walk forward when everything in them wanted to turn back. They chose to trust in their purpose, their dreams, their calling. And so must you. Faith does not promise an easy road. It does not promise a life without struggle, but it does promise that you will not walk alone. It promises that there is something greater ahead. It promises that if you keep going, if you keep believing, if you refuse to let fear win, you will find everything you are meant for. So today, right now, choose faith. Choose to believe that you are enough, that you are capable, that you are worthy. Choose to step forward, even if your hands shake. Choose to trust that the path will appear beneath your feet. Because fear may come knocking, but faith is the key that will unlock every door. And as long as you hold on to faith, you will never, ever give up. There will always be voices. Some will be loud, others soft. Some will come from the world around you. Some will come from the people you love. And some will come from deep inside your own mind. The voices of doubt will tell you that you are not enough. They will remind you of your past mistakes, magnify your weaknesses, and whisper that you will never reach the heights you dream of. They will question your abilities, mock your ambitions, and try to convince you that failure is inevitable. But hear me now, those voices do not define you. You are not the sum of your doubts. You are not the weight of other people's opinions. You are not the product of the fears that try to hold you back. You are more. You are the fire that refuses to be extinguished. You are the light that shines even in the darkest night. You are strength wrapped in flesh, a soul filled with purpose. If you listen to doubt, you will stay small. If you let the whispers of fear shape you, you will never step into the greatness that is waiting for you. If you let other people's insecurities become your truth, you will live a life that was never truly yours. So I ask you today, whose voice will you listen to? The world will always have opinions. Some will tell you to sit down, to quiet your dreams, to take the easy road. Some will tell you that you are too much, too different, too ambitious, too bold. Some will say you don't have what it takes. But I say this, they don't get to decide who you are. You decide. You hold the pen, you write the story. And in that story, there is no place for the lies of doubt. There is no place for the words of those who do not see your worth. There is no place for fear to sit at the table of your destiny. You must rise above the noise. You must drown out the voices that say you can't and replace them with the truth that says you can. You are capable. You are worthy. You are strong. There is a voice inside you that is greater than all the doubt in the world. It is the voice that tells you to keep going when the road is hard. The voice that reminds you of your strength when you feel weak. The voice that pushes you forward when everything in you wants to stop. Listen to that voice. Hold on to that voice. Let it be louder than the doubt. Because at the end of the day, it is not the voices of doubt that define you. Pain is a visitor that does not knock before entering. It does not wait for permission, does not ask if you are ready. It comes in the dead of night, in the quiet moments when you least expect it. It arrives in the form of heartbreak, betrayal, loss, disappointment. It settles into your bones, weighing you down, threatening to make a home inside you. Oh, but listen, to me, pain is not meant to break you. Pain is meant to build you. I know what you're thinking. How can something so heavy, so unbearable, ever serve a purpose? How can the aching of a wounded heart, the struggles of a weary soul, the scars of a broken past, ever be turned into something good? But hear me now, within every pain, there is power. Within every struggle, there is strength waiting to be discovered. You see, pain is a fire. It will either consume you or it will forge you into something stronger. It is a test, a challenge, a question being asked of you. Will you let this pain define you, or will you rise above it? History is filled with those who turned their pain into power. The ones who took rejection and built empires. The ones who took loss and found purpose. The ones who took suffering and created something beautiful. Do you think they were never broken? Do you think they never cried, never doubted, never questioned why life had chosen them for such a burden? Oh, they did. They wept. They screamed. They fell to their knees. But in the end, They chose to stand back up. And so must you. Whatever pain you are carrying, do not let it make you bitter, let it make you better. Do not let it turn your heart cold, let it ignite a fire inside you. Let it push you forward instead of holding you back. Let it remind you that you have already survived what you thought would destroy you. Because if you are still here, if you are still breathing, then your story is not over. Your pain is not the period at the end of your sentence. It is just a comma, a pause before something greater. So take that pain, that loss, that heartbreak, that disappointment, and use it. Use it to fuel your fire. Use it to strengthen your resolve. Use it to build something so powerful, so unshakable, that nothing can ever break you again. Pain will come, yes, but it does not have to win, because you, my dear, are stronger than the pain. You are greater than your past. You are bolder than your scars. And when you truly decide to turn your pain into power, there is nothing in this world that can stop you. Life will not always be kind to you. It will not always give you clear roads and bright skies. There will be storms. There will be mountains too steep, valleys too deep, days too dark. There will be moments when your spirit feels drained, when your body aches with exhaustion, when your mind tells you to stop. But hear me now, you must keep walking, even if your legs tremble, even if your feet drag, even if the road ahead is so uncertain that you can barely see the next step. Keep walking. And if you cannot walk, crawl. But do not stop. Do not surrender to the weight of the struggle. Do not allow yourself to stay down when life pushes you. Because the moment you stop moving is the moment you give your struggle permission to win. Oh, I know the fight is hard. I know the pain is real. I know what it feels like to carry burdens so heavy that you wonder if you will ever be free. But I also know this: every step forward, no matter how small, brings you closer to something greater. Some days you will run with fire in your heart. Some days you will walk with steady determination. And some days you will barely be able to move at all. But even on those days, you must find a way to move forward. Even if it is just an inch, even if it is just a breath, keep going. Because the road does not belong to the strongest nor the fastest. It belongs to the ones who refuse to quit. Look back at all the times you thought you would not make it. The nights you thought you would not survive. The moments when you felt lost, broken, defeated. And yet you are still here. You are still standing. You are still moving. That is proof of your strength. That is proof that you can and will keep going. Life will test you. It will throw obstacles in your way. It will challenge your spirit, shake your faith, make you question if the fight is worth it. But let me tell you something: you have survived 100% of your worst days. And that means you can survive whatever comes next. So do not stop now. The road may be long, but your journey is not over. The mountain may be high, but your strength is greater. The night may be dark, but the sun will rise again. So take another step, even if it hurts, even if it is slow, even if you must crawl, keep moving. Because as long as you are moving, you are winning. And no matter what happens, no matter how hard the journey gets, you must never, ever give up. Victory is not given. It is not handed out like a gift, nor is it reserved for the lucky. Victory belongs to the persistent, the ones who refuse to quit, the ones who keep pushing forward even when the odds are stacked against them. You see, success is not about talent alone. It is not about intelligence alone. It is not even about opportunity alone. No, success, true, lasting success belongs to those who refuse to stop. Those who understand that every setback is a lesson. Every failure is a stepping stone. Every obstacle is an invitation to rise higher. There will be moments when the path forward feels impossible. When rejection stings, when doors slam shut, when the dream you are chasing feels just out of reach. There will be times when the voice in your head tells you to let go, to turn back, to settle for less. There will be moments when the path forward feels impossible, when rejection stings, when doors slam shut, when the dream you are chasing feels just out of reach. There will be times when the voice in your head tells you to let go, to turn back, to settle for less. But listen to me, though, not listen to that voice. Do not let discouragement steal what is meant for you. The greatest victories in this world were not achieved by those who had it easy. They were won by those who endured, those who showed up day after day, even when no one was watching, those who believed in themselves when no one else did, those who stumbled, who fell, who failed but got back up every single time. Victory belongs to the one who stays in the fight,